To ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bearded Browns. I am Gary Fair, and I am here with Michael Wilkes. Thank you guys for joining us here for the very first Bearded Browns here on WOBL and WDLW here in Lorain County. Mike, how you doing?
I am great, man. Today is the day. I know it's just preseason, but this means a lot to Cleveland fans in general. So I'm really looking forward to today. What's going to happen out here? It's going to be a hell of a day for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, man. We're here for the first preseason game, and this is going to be awesome here. We have a lot going on here. There's just like every single season going on here. We have a big quarterback controversy going on here for the Cleveland Browns. A lot to talk about here. Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders. Who's going to be the starting quarterback here for the Cleveland Browns? We have some. We got a lot going on here. Cleveland Browns, we had a heck of a draft this past year. Some wide receivers, Casey Concepcion.
Denzel Boston.
Man, they're looking good here. I still wish we could see Casey Concepcion here, catch a few more balls. But, here we are. Boston is looking good. But Browns preseason is finally here. We have the Browns traveling to Soldier Field today. They're going to play the soon-to-be Hammond, Indiana, Chicago Bears. What are you most excited to see so far?
Obviously, the quarterback play. You're going to see Deshaun Watson for the first half and then Shedeur Sanders in the second half. And this is great because this isn't camp anymore. This is an actual game. And that's why normally preseason really isn't important if you know who your quarterback is going into the season. But today is an important day for Cleveland Browns. It's the inevitable. We have to see who's going to be our quarterback in actual gameplay rather than, just camp. What's going to be weird is they're going to be playing against a bunch of 2s and 3s because Chicago isn't starting pretty much any other starters today.
So, is there anything that you really think that you're going to be able to see out of the quarterback competition if they're going to be playing 2s and 3s?
Yeah, I do. I still want to see pocket presence, how quick they can get rid of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. You've seen it at camp where they're holding on to the ball. We've seen plenty of videos where they're holding on to the ball too long and they're not technically getting sacked, but you got an edge rusher in there that could be able to sack them.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see Shedeur Sanders do one thing, and that's stop padding the ball before he throws it. And I know that's a thing that some quarterbacks have. Even greats have done it. But I think when you do that, that kind of gives it away. Like, just look at what direction the quarterback's looking at. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And when he pats that ball, that's where it's going. That's one thing I wish he would stop. But
if that's something that you see other great quarterbacks doing, I don't know if that's necessarily, something that I want him to, to do or necessarily stop doing. I'm just excited to see these guys actually play. We've heard it's kind of hard to, without actually being there and seeing these guys in practice ourselves, it's hard to actually know what these guys are doing. We have these quarterback trackers out there, and it's, showing these guys completions and their touchdowns and things like that. But it's hard to really know what's going on when you're actually seeing those because these guys aren't getting sacked and these plays are going longer than they actually should. So they're getting, they're getting credit for completions after, times where they would have been sacked in normal games, right? They're really not, these trackers are not necessarily accurate. So you have a lot of talking heads out there, talking heads like us, that are, giving opinions on things, on these trackers that really aren't accurate. So it's going to be interesting to see what these guys actually look like in gameplay, with the speed of the game out there. So I'm excited to see, what these guys actually are going to be looking like, see. I'm just excited to see I'm excited to see what they look like. Deshaun Watson has been a guy that I think throughout his career has always looked good in practice. He's always looked good in those things. And then, you get him out of the game, especially here in Cleveland. He's a guy that, one minute looks like he's a Pro Bowler, and the next minute you don't understand how he ended up in the NFL here in Cleveland. So I think, especially coming off of these injuries, I'm just interested to see, how he's going to look. I think it's definitely interesting that, the feeling out there, especially from a lot of the talking heads here in Cleveland, is that Deshaun Watson is supposed to be the guy that has the lead, yet he's not getting the start against a team that's going to be playing the ones.
Well, I mean, excuse me. Let me put it to you this way: you have Deshaun Watson, that was a number one draft pick, obviously an elite player in Texas, and you have him come into the Browns, and it just fell apart with all the drama and the injuries that riddled this quarterback room. Period. Now he hasn't played football in 2 years because of an injury that he re-injured again, had another surgery on, and now he's back. Do you think one whole camp is good enough for this guy to come out and be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns?
I mean, it's not even just the 2 years. I mean, before that, he had that crazy shoulder injury that was like the first time that any quarterback in the NFL had that injury. It's a baseball injury. You're talking, it's been 5, 6 years since this guy has really been an elite NFL quarterback.
Right.
I can't think of another time where an NFL quarterback has gone this long.
You got to say 6 years because he sat out his last year with the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
It's just things like that. I don't know. Those are things that bug me. Obviously, then you had the 11-game suspension coming in, the injuries. And then what really makes me kind of worried here is Andrew Berry did say he'll sign somebody else again. And that kind of points the finger to Deshaun Watson. Is this guy capable enough to be QB1? And if he is, will we sign him again when his contract is up?
Well, the only way to really find that out is to, I guess, play him, And, that's the only way to know is to play the guy and find out. And that's what you have the preseason for. And, we want to know what else. We want to know what you guys think, too. So you can let us know. Give us a call on the Maple City Ice Bud Light listener line, 440-775-1320. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you guys out here in Lorain County. It's definitely going to be an interesting game. But like I said, I just don't know necessarily what you're going to be able to see watching these guys play against the 2s and the 3s. I just know that in years past, this first preseason game wasn't something that we ever used to evaluate anything for the most part.
You evaluated players. It's just big for us because it's the quarterback room. It's the most important position on a team.
But we never used it to evaluate the quarterback before. Now all of a sudden it's being used to decide who's going to be our starting quarterback.
Well, because you have three possibilities, and I'm going to say three because supposedly Dylan Gabriel's been doing pretty good at camp. Well, here's the thing: so imagine being Dylan Gabriel. Okay, you got Deshaun Watson to worry about,
Mm-hmm.
which is supposed to be the starting quarterback for the last 5 years. Then you have Dylan Gabriel that was drafted in the 3rd round by the Cleveland Browns. Here comes the 5th round. You draft Shedeur Sanders. Why is Shedeur Sanders, a 5th-round pick, highlighted more than Dylan Gabriel? In general, it's just he's already QB2 essentially.
I mean, there's a couple reasons for that. I think that number one is where he was projected to begin with. Number two, I really think that he looked better than Dylan Gabriel last year. Dylan Gabriel, I understand that he was looked at as the supercomputer last year. However, I said it before, and I will say it again. Shedeur Sanders made throws last year that you haven't had a quarterback make in a while. And I know that, like, in some of the videos, Shedeur, the spiral wasn't that tight on some of the throws. That
He did have blisters on his hand. That was confirmed by Mary Kay Cabot in the beginning of camp, because they call it throwing ducks.
Yeah.
And it's supposedly his hand is healed now and better, but I've seen these ducks recently. So it's one thing to be concerned about, I guess, but hopefully that's something he'll be able to get over because he can't throw the long ball.
He can.
I'm looking forward to that.
And Dylan Gabriel doesn't.
Right, he's a check down guy, get it out quick. Which you need plays like that when you're getting rushed. You need to be able to get rid of the ball. Pocket presence is another thing that I'm looking forward to seeing today.
For sure.
But there's a lot to look at today, especially obviously in the quarterback room. I don't know what receivers we're going to be playing, but it's going to be an interesting day. Period. I would still love to sit here and we're going to get to that in a little bit about some defensive side of the ball, which I have a great point, I think, on a couple reasons why the offense could be where they're at right now. But we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you need to see from Deshaun Watson today that's going to let you know against 2s and 3s whether he could be starting quarterback or QB 2 or 3 or not even be on his team next year?
I need to see accuracy out of him. I need to see that he is able to put the ball where he's supposed to put it. If he is overthrowing the ball and throwing interceptions, if he's missing guys, I know that it's just not there for him. I don't want to see a tired arm. I need to see Deshaun Watson putting the ball where he's supposed to be putting it. And that's about it. I'm not trying to. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see him out scrambling. I just need to see Deshaun Watson putting the ball where he's supposed to be putting it, and that's really what I want to see out of any of these guys. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see these guys being thrown behind. I want to see the ball where the ball is supposed to be, and if that happens, then I think you have a shot, especially with the wide receivers that we have right now. I know that these guys are young, but Boston just looks great.
Lights out at camp, supposedly catching the ball really well and impressing a lot of people, which is great. And that's what you want to hear, because last year we didn't have just wide receiver issues. It was line issues, quarterback issues. All offensive side of the ball was just horrible last year and couldn't seem to put it together. And that's why I'm hoping to see some change this year, especially with the offensive line. The quarterback can get some more protection, hopefully, and be able to make plays happen. I'm not saying hold on to the ball for 4 or 5 seconds every play, but let a play develop. Hopefully they'll have time to let a play develop to be able to get the ball downfield. And this is another thing. Time of possession is huge. You hold the ball and you make plays happen. You get chunk yards. You get first down after first down after first down, and you score. You put points on the board, you're going to be fine. That was a struggle last year. We need a quarterback to do that. We've talked about it numerous times on the show, Gary. Defense wins championships, unless you're the Cleveland Browns.
Well, I think that's also in 1996 defense wins championships. Not that you can't, not that you can win a championship without having a decent defense, but quarterback play wins championships. Even when you look back at the teams that had dominant defenses that won, was it Ty Detmer with the Ravens 25 years ago? It was still good quarterback play that helped win that championship. He wasn't out there playing like Brett Favre, but he wasn't turning the ball over. That's good quarterback play. He was taking care of that offense. Good quarterback play is what wins championships. And so out of this, if you're going to depend on that defense, you still need good quarterback play. And so you need a quarterback that's going to put it where it needs to be put. That is going to have good decision making, that's going to be accurate with the ball. And so out of what either one of these quarterbacks, that's what we're going to need to see.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to today. And I've never looked forward to a preseason game so much in my life until today. I woke up, had a cup of coffee, felt amazing. And it's here, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. It is here.
And now, when we come back here, we're going to be talking a little bit about who's going to become if Jerry Jeudy can become the number one wide receiver on this team. Talk a little bit about what's going to be going on in offense and defense, and what we can be looking forward to for maybe the rest of the offseason here when we come back. Give us a call, 440-775-1320 on the Maple City Ice Bud Light listener line, and we will be back here after this break.
WOBL and the Bearded Browns are proud to partner with J&M Contracting. From start to finish, J&M brings experience, quality, and expertise to every job. Call J&M Contracting.
It wasn't as smooth as I wanted, but we'll get better.
Trent Dover.
J&M Contracting, the experts in everything they do.
Dover.
Hey, feature from the Roll Cat, your ride deserves the best. All details on Broad Street in Elyria offers professional services for your car. If your car needs it, they do it. For a complete list of services, visit autodetails-elyria.com. Auto Details. Do it right.
From building great projects to building a stronger community, Wiggins Construction is proud to support our Lorain County 4-H youth at the Lorain County Fair. Wiggins Construction, supporting the next generation.
Yes, the 4th of July fireworks may be over, but the festivities for America's 250th birthday are still in full swing. Because at America 250 Ohio, we're honoring both America and our state with hundreds of events in all 88 Ohio counties. From historic shops to Ohio-related films to driving trails of discovery. So go to America250Ohio.org to find an event near you, because there's never been a better time to honor this amazing place we all call home. Sponsored by the Ohio History Connection, aired by the OAB and this station.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner.
The Josh Cribbs punt return. These dogs don't care about who the next QB of the Browns are. They just care about you. Adopt, foster, share, save a life. City Dogs Cleveland, Lorain County Dog Kennel. Draft the next dog pound superstar.
At City Dogs Cleveland on all social media.
The Doghouse Bar and Grill in Elyria is proud to support the Bearded Browns podcast. And when it's time for Browns football, there's only one place to be. Great food, cold drinks in every Browns game. Be a savage. Come in and watch all games at Doghouse.
What is up? What is up, everybody? We are back. We are live. And wonder why everybody can still hear us on there, but hey, whatever. It's fine. Some behind the scenes action on the stream.
Yeah. Welcome back. We are live here on WOBL WDLW. This is the Bearded Browns. And we are your source for Cleveland Browns coverage here in Lorain County. And we are talking here about the preseason game that is going to be going on here today, a little later on. It's the first preseason game. And your starting quarterback for this first game is going to be Deshaun Watson. And I know that is that's the big talking point here in Cleveland is that, Shedeur Sanders is not going to be your quarterback this year because Deshaun Watson is starting game one, which to me really means nothing because, as we were saying before, I don't know. I just feel like this game doesn't really mean too much as far as that situation goes. Chicago's not going to be playing any of their starters. It's going to be the second and third team in there. And in the past, I feel like we've really just been trained that this first preseason game does not really mean anything when it comes to those sorts of things. So, I am excited for this game. I'm excited to finally see some football. I'm excited to finally, get a little bit of this on tape, so we can finally start to see some of this stuff. But I don't necessarily know that this is going to mean anything either way. Maybe if one of these guys comes out there and has 3 picks, it would mean something either way. But I don't know that you're going to have anything that's going to make a decision either way for either of these quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's something I do want to bring up is honestly the defense. The defense has been playing lights out at camp. So, and that makes you wonder, like, is this something that the offense is struggling with? You're playing against a top, somewhere between 3 and 5 defense, I would imagine, with who we have. Without Myles Garrett, that's another touchy. That's a touchy subject that I want to get to. Ladies and gentlemen, Myles Garrett is gone, and we have Jared Verse. Jared Verse is not Myles Garrett, and will never be Myles Garrett. But I think the kid has plenty of potential to be a phenomenal edge rusher. I'm not going to sit here and say we replaced Myles Garrett by far, like the stats wise, we didn't. But could Jared Verse be a double sack artist this year coming in?
But so statistically wise, for those sacks you haven't, and there's no way that you can sit here and say that Myles Garrett is. You can't downplay what Myles Garrett is, right? However, Jadeveon Clowney, when he left here, he kind of threw him under the bus, talked about how the defense had to call special plays for him. And, there has been this thing out there where Myles Garrett wasn't a vocal leader, and he necessarily didn't play for the defense. He played for himself. So the question is can this defense be better without Myles Garrett? Think of all those plays where, Myles Garrett was, overrunning the quarterback, trying to get those sacks. Same thing on a lot of those run plays. Myles Garrett was really incredible. You can't argue against all of those sacks that he had, but are we going to be better against the run now? Because with Jared Verse there, and if we are, how much better is that going to make the defense?
Well, as long as the defensive line could stay away from injuries, I think we will be fine. You watched it last year when Lee Collins went out with that Tennessee game, and that was a huge impact on our run game in general. And right now he's not here. So I mean,
he isn't. But now you have an end that plays the run.
Yeah, you're gonna. That's something I'm looking forward to seeing. You can look up Jared Verse's highlights. He is a phenomenal guy. He gets, you get pressures. And pressures are just as important as a sack. So it's going to be interesting to see how Mike Rutenberg is going to play Jared Verse, and on the defensive side of the ball, it's going to be exciting to see. There's so many. So they said in the beginning they were going to stick to Jim Schwartz's scheme. Mike Rutenberg seems a little bit more blitz heavy, and not as predictable. Again, I'm not saying Jim Schwartz was predictable. I'm just talking about the Cleveland Browns in general at this point. But you're going to see some different things out of this defense. Carson Schlesinger, Jared Verse. You got two vocal guys in the locker room that could be mentors, and one's coming off his rookie year, and the other's coming into his third year. There's things to look forward to with young talent on this team that could run a defense, unlike Myles did.
What do you expect out of Mike Hall?
That one's rough. You haven't really seen him play too much. He showed some promise, and this is not because he's an Ohio State guy either. It's just that's another one of those things where injuries and drama have possibly ruined another career. And that's not stuff you want to see when you think that this player could be a promising player.
For sure. At this point now, we're talking about Deshaun Watson and, how many years it's been since he has been in a position to be elite. And, now we're talking about, Michael Hall, and he's never been in a position. This is his third year. And so now you're talking 3 years now. This is going to probably be the third wasted year in the NFL. He's coming in, he's hurt again. So between injuries and off-the-field drama, this is going to be a third year where he's not going to really either have preparation or a full year in the NFL. So you're talking 3 years removed from his Ohio State year. At some point, you can't really count on him, and now that's a wasted high draft pick again.
Well, you're going to see him this year. I'm hoping you're going to get something out of him. That'd be great, because another thing, it's horrible for any team to have a draft pick and see stuff like that happen with a promising player. So that goes without saying. I am looking forward to today more than ever, though. I am. And you know what's crazy is my favorite guy, as everybody knows, Jed Wills. And that's sarcasm, by the way. I do not like Jed Wills at all. I'm glad we got rid of him. But he is now a Chicago Bear.
Which is, I think, going to be interesting. There are some people who have, listen, I've been just as critical of, Cleveland Browns fans and Cleveland media of how we have handled certain situations and treated players. Jed Wills, though, is not one of those guys. And for as much heat as the Cleveland media and Cleveland fans have gotten for some guys, just wait until Jed Wills is over there playing left tackle in Chicago, and they start going through quarterbacks over there. Listen, man, I lived in Chicago 10 years. That fan base and that media, I'm just telling you, man, Cleveland fans and media have nothing on the way that those Chicago people treat those players and those people over there. They had Jay Cutler there for quite a bit of time. And, I was having this argument with somebody here recently, and, they compared Jay Cutler to Baker Mayfield. But there are people in this town who have never forgotten Baker Mayfield, who even want now Baker Mayfield to leave Tampa and come back here and be the savior. Over Chicago, Jay Cutler, they wouldn't serve him a cup of coffee when he was in Chicago. Jay Cutler, people thought that he was mentally disabled when he was in Chicago. They thought he was an idiot. Jay Cutler was, the whole time he was there, he was, there was not a single person that I knew of in Chicago, whether they were on the radio, radio, television, fan, whatever it was, that was kind to or a fan of Jay Cutler. And you're going to tell me that Jed Wills, when he has a little bit of an injury and he's going to make a business decision to not play, is going to get any slack in Chicago? I mean,
that's like Cody Parkey. Remember that?
Oh, for sure.
Would have gotten him to the playoffs, I believe.
Yeah.
I guess he got death threats and everything. So I know Chicago fan base is kind of raw, just like we are, but not as good as Cleveland.
Well, they're raw, but they're 10 times the population.
True.
So that's why it's going to be a whole lot rougher over there for Jed Wills. I don't, if you talk about making business decisions, if I'm his representation, I don't necessarily know that is the team that I'm allowing my guy to sign to. But, listen, he did what he did, and they're over there. I'm definitely, you talk about things that you're looking forward to and matchups that you want to see. I do want to see, Jared Verse light him up today. That is something that's definitely going to be fun.
Tyson Bagent is the starting quarterback for the Bears today.
Yeah.
So he hasn't played really a whole lot since 2023, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see. I guess the kid's been showing some promise at camp. That is to be untold. We'll find out today.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting day on both sides of the ball because we don't know who we're going to be really playing defensively.
For sure.
And offensively. You're going to probably see a lot of stars in today, especially with the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see them mesh well. Everybody knows that has been the biggest problem of mine the past couple of years is the offensive line. So I'm looking forward to that changing, the quarterback and wide receivers. Defense seems fine. But here's the point I wanted to bring up earlier. Is our defense literally so good that it is slowing pretty much our new offense down, making them struggle because they're just that good. Obviously, you're going to be, it's like a number one defense. We'll say a top 5 defense playing against the 32nd best offense. That's what it looks like.
I mean, absolutely. But is that what the offense needs to get better, or is it stopping the offense from getting better? Do you think?
I'm hoping that's going to make them better, right? It should.
Mm-hmm.
In a perfect world, you're playing against a defense daily that is dominating. Hopefully, you'll be able to figure out how to adjust to be able to play better against one of the better defenses in the league.
And is the offense so bad that it's making the defense look this good?
That's a double-edged sword.
Because we were talking here about how much we do like Jared Verse, but you did lose Myles Garrett, and Denzel Ward is a year older. So I just you don't know what. We're not going to know until we see. And if you do have, if your defense is that good, if you can just get a little bit out of this offense, some people are talking a 4 or 5 win team. Some people are talking if you can get an average offense, especially in this division, you might have a playoff team this year.
I think a lot of fans are going to be excited for just improvement, being able to play competitive football. That's really all you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
We know that we are not in good shape right now, especially with a new offense that is gelling. They gotta. This stuff doesn't happen overnight. They're going to gel. They're going to get better, and you're not going to see it instantly. You might hopefully see some change, shortly, like week 4. Week 4 would be great to see big changes where we start winning games. We look competitive. Even the quarterbacks look good. Wide receivers are making big plays. Running backs. Another thing, running backs, man. We have some good guys in that room. I'm looking forward to seeing them as well. The offensive line has to do their job for these guys to be able to make plays.
Yeah. And what are you guys most excited for seeing? 440-775-1320. Give us a call here on the Lorain County Country WOBL Maple City Ice Bud Light listener line. Let us know what you guys are most excited to see today. For me, it's that offense. I want to see the quarterbacks, and I want to see Jed Wills just get lit up today, man.
Yeah.
That really is going to be most exciting. I do want to see. I want to see Soldier Field too, man. We don't know how many more years we're going to be able to see Soldier Field. Technically, it is the oldest field in the NFL. It is the ugliest field in the NFL too, man. The whole story behind Soldier Field just cracks me up too. Yeah, the idea that they kept the outside of it and just replaced the guts in there. I don't know if anybody around here has ever been out to Soldier Field, but it really is a fugly stadium. The Chicago Bears have their own sort of Cleveland Art Modell sort of situation. Not really where they're not leaving the Chicagoland area, but Hammond, Indiana is not Cleveland or is not Chicago, Illinois. So they're talking about moving that team pretty far out of Chicago, and Chicago fans there are upset. So I do feel for Chicago Bears fans out there too. So they have their own drama and own thing going out there as well.
Yeah, but the history of the stadium is kind of cool. I actually looked some stuff up yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally built in 1923,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought Lambeau Field was the oldest, but it's apparently not. It is Soldier Field, and obviously the name Soldier Field coming during wartime and kind of a push towards respecting fallen heroes, fallen war heroes. So it's kind of cool, and like you said, you and I were talking before the show how everything in Chicago is kind of historical, so they're going to keep it that way no matter what. But how do you make the face look the same and just replace the guts, and it looks like crap? So you go from
It's a spaceship. It looks like a spaceship.
1923 to modern.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, it is a goofy looking stadium. We complain a lot here about Huntington Bank Field, old Cleveland Municipal Stadium, but I mean, really, Cleveland fans would not be happy if we were playing in Soldier Field. It is a pretty ugly, looking stadium. So we got the Browns here. We are playing at Soldier Field today. We are finally going to see quarterbacks play. We're going to finally see our wide receivers in live game action. We're going to see our new look offense. We're going to see new look defense. You're going to see Fannin. Fannin's finally going to be the only tight end, basically.
Well, you have other tight ends. You got Blake Whiteheart, Royer. There's just some issues going on,
but he's the tight end.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
He's not having to compete with Njoku.
That's a plus, but you're also going to see Monken's going to probably be doing some 2 and 3 tight end sets, I would imagine. So you're going to see some of that. It's going to be interesting. Again, we don't really know. I mean, Angel went to camp this past Tuesday. He's seen some stuff live, not just a couple reels on Facebook. You know what I mean? It is going to be very interesting to see how this offense plays out today. Today's, I don't know, man. It's so weird. Today's not super important because the game really doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
But all that's in it for us is literally to see what these players are capable of doing. And I know that's what preseason is for, but it's more special for us in a way.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I look at it today. So we'll see. Yes, and the wide receivers, man, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing. Obviously, last year you had issues with drop balls, all that.
All right, we are going to go to the hotline here.
Welcome. This is Bearded Browns. You're on the air. Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it, Steve. Yeah, the offensive line, man, that's been an issue for quite a while. Definitely quite a while. And it's something that hopefully has been taken care of this year so far. Like I said, you have to have blocking for your quarterback. You have to have blocking for your running backs to be able to make plays. And if your quarterback is right-handed, which Deshaun Watson is, Shedeur Sanders is, your left tackle is most important. So Fano hopefully will be able to fill that role in because that's a huge role for the Browns. We have been super, super light on left tackle. So,
and we've been light for a lot of years there, Yeah, so I think that's definitely going to be a big question here, and we're not going to be able to know that until really we start seeing these preseason games.
Yeah.
I am hoping that, I'm hoping that it's a little bit from A and B, I guess. I want the defense to be good, but I don't want the offense to be that bad. So I guess we're gonna see here in a little bit. We're gonna go back to the hotline. It's Gary and Mike. You're on the air with the Bearded Browns.
Yeah, thank you for the call. That's another object we're gonna try to figure out here. We got a lot of things going on with that because you got they're talking about DeJuan Jones at right tackle. They're talking about possibly putting him over at right Fano at right tackle as well. This is what preseason's about. This is where you're going to find out where your key players are going to be. It's going to be, again, it's going to be one of those things that plays out through preseason, and hopefully whatever player we put at that position is the best player for that position. I would like to see Fano at left tackle because he seems pretty dominant. He's been working with the burst, which is huge. You're working with a Pro Bowl edge rusher that you've had to block, and they've had issues on the field too, which is great because I love the grit. I know they're your teammates at the end of the day, but if you show that grit and that you're willing to learn, they're staying after practice as well, from what I hear, to do some drills and such, which is great. You're a rookie. You're working with a 3-year vet now. Well, not a vet yet. I guess 4 years is vet, but it's good to see things like that.
Listen, if you're willing to get down in the dirt with your teammates, then you're willing to do that with your opponents.
Yes.
And a guy like Fano, you want to see him. You drafted him. You drafted him to play left tackle. You know that he can play right tackle. So that's your emergency outlet, I guess, for a guy like that. So far, from what you hear from camp, he looks like he can play left tackle. But once again, it's you want to see the game tape.
Yeah.
So this is something that we won't. I don't think we're going to find out until we start seeing in the games. I think left tackle, your offensive line, your defensive line, those sorts of things I think you can start to see in these preseason games against the 2s and the 3s. Your quarterback, I think, is something that you need to, if you want to see your one, you want to see your number 1 quarterback against the number 1 defense. These other positions you can start to gauge, I think, against these against the 2nd and 3rds in the preseason. But I think tomorrow, when we come on the air tomorrow, we're going to have a much better idea of these questions after we see them against the Bears.
Yeah, you'll be able to get some judgment out of this. Like I said, this isn't going to be your tell-all game. It's the first game with a whole new offense, essentially. So hopefully, I'm hoping you're going to see some great things. It's just playing against 2 and 3s. It's like your first team playing against a college team, pretty much. So you can put that. And that the Bears are trying to find out some certain positions too. They got a lot of good weapons on the Bears. Obviously, they made it to the playoffs, made it to the playoffs last year and got knocked out by the Rams. So
yeah,
they're a good team, force to be reckoned with. But can the Browns be a force to be reckoned with this year?
Yeah, for sure. And while we're here too, I do want to give a big shout out to some of our new sponsors, because without them we wouldn't be here. Giving you all this Browns coverage. I want to give a shout out to Auto Details, J&M Contracting LLC, the Dog House Bar and Grill, Doug White Allstate, Wiggins Construction Home Improvement. Thank you guys very much for your support. Without you guys, we could not be here talking Browns. So thank you very much for your support. And yeah, man, you guys have been awesome. And also, in the last break there, you heard a PSA for City Dogs in Lorain County. The brain freeze in there for the dog kennel there. They are right now, all of those kennels, man, they are full right now. So they are doing a thing where they're trying to get rid of pretty much adopt out all the dogs. So all the dogs right now are $21 from all the kennels in Cuyahoga County and Cleveland. So if you're looking for a dog, man, make sure you go out there and check those guys out. Back to the Browns. It's just, not to try and drive it home here, man, but a lot of this stuff is just going to have to wait and see till you watch them live in the game.
Yeah, camp is. I'm not going to say camp cupcake. I don't want to put it that way. But do you remember when Kevin Stefanski took the team out to West Virginia and they stayed in this nice fancy hotel and had practices outside and all that? And it was kind of light, it seemed. Obviously, no tackling, which Monken is trying to implement and it was implementing in camp, where there's no heavy tackling, no tackling at all. You're not supposed to be anyways to, avoid injury. It's just one of those things where you want to see this team come out tough, the grit.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that it seems as though I think we're going to see that out of this team. Of all the things that have been said about this team and the things that we've seen so far under Monken, one thing I think that they're going to pull from him is grit. I definitely like some of the things that I've seen out of him. This team is definitely a lot grittier under Monken than they were under Stefanski. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that on the field. When we come back from break here, we're going to be talking about, whether we think the Browns might be a playoff team. We'll give a bold prediction each for the Browns in 2026 and talk about final scores here. Make sure you, when we come back, give us a call, 440-775-1320 on the Maple City Ice Bud Light listener line. We will be right back talking Browns on the Bearded Browns. WOBL.
Is coming to North Ridgeville's Victory Park, a two-night music festival, Friday, August 28th and Saturday the 29th. All proceeds go to local charities that aim to combat veteran suicide. Buy your tickets today at neovetfest.org. WOBL and the Bearded Browns are proud to partner with J&M Contracting. From start to finish, J&M brings experience, quality, and expertise to every job. Call J&M Contracting at 440-662-8054. J&M Contracting, the experts in everything they do.
The Doghouse Bar and Grill in Elyria is proud to support the Bearded Browns podcast. And when it's time for Browns football, there's only one place to be. Great food, cold drinks, and every Browns game. Be a savage. Come in and watch all games at Doghouse. There's a name you need to know. Wiggins Construction. For your next project, follow them on Facebook or give them a call at 440-731-4654. Wiggins Construction. Built on a name you can remember.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh, no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Hey, it's GG from the Cold Cat, and your ride deserves the best. Auto Details on Broad Street, Elyria offers professional services for your car. If your car needs it, they do it. For a complete list of services, visit autodetails-elyria.com. Auto Details. Do it right.
Trusted local personal service, 25 years strong. Doug White Allstate is where you belong. 440-235-8500. Call Doug White Agency today and see why they are different.
As a parent, you said you'd never give up a convertible. Look, a van even has its own back. You said you'd never schedule your life around a stuffed animal. Nobody panic. Bun is still at daycare. And never put them in harm's way. I'll be right back, little man. Stop off at the store for diapers. But never happens. Temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you every time you park the car. Stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Gary from the Bearded Browns.
This is not a drill.
City Dogs and the Lorain County Dog Kennel have officially reached
Critical mass.
We're talking dogs with zoomies the speed of a Josh Cribbs punt return. These dogs don't care about who the next QB of the Browns are. They just care about you. Adopt, foster, share, save a life. City Dogs Cleveland, Lorain County Dog Kennel. Draft the next Dog Pound superstar.
At City Dogs Cleveland on all social media.
The 5th annual Northeast Ohio Vet Fest is coming to North Ridgeville's Victory Park, a two-night music festival, Friday, August 28th and Saturday the 29th. All proceeds go to local charities that aim to combat veteran suicide. Buy your tickets today at
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We have 15 minutes left on today's show. We'll be back tomorrow. I think tomorrow we have an hour and a half show.
Yeah, 11:30 to 1 o'clock. We'll be recapping the first preseason game. Football is here, guys. I'm so excited. You guys are excited. We're going to finally see some quarterback play. Everybody who has been prognosticating and, talking all that stuff, all that ends because we're finally going to see some quarterback play out there.
I don't think all the talk is going to end, obviously, depending on what happens all through preseason and who's the starting quarterback at game 1. That's going to be where the crap talking ends. Because if it's Deshaun Watson, it's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot. The Shore fans are going to go insane. That's going to happen. It's going to happen.
It's interesting. All of the conspiracy theories that are out there. You've heard that, Shador's getting the start in game 2 so that the Cleveland fans don't boo Deshaun in game 2. But, Deshaun's still going to have to go out there and play in game 2. So, Cleveland fans, you're still going to get a chance to boo and cheer whoever you want in game 2. You're still gonna get a chance to, cause a ruckus out there in game 2. So, I don't understand those conspiracy theories. I would just want whoever is the best quarterback. I want them to go up, even if it's Dylan Gabriel. I'm not necessarily I'm not rooting against anybody. I just don't see him as the guy. But if it ends up being Dylan Gabriel, then let it be him. I just don't think it's the guy who's 30 years old. I just don't think it's Deshaun Watson, I don't think is going to sign a new contract with you. So I just don't understand giving him the reps and giving him the shot. If
he gave us 230 million reasons not to sign another contract, to me, that's my opinion, but that's where I'm going to go with that. You have a chance to get not even a franchise quarterback, a quarterback that could win you games. That's what you need. A franchise quarterback would be great, but get rid of what do you want to call that? Get rid of that. Whatever is causing us to lose games, whatever's pouring poor morale into the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of that. That's not how you're going to win games.
However, I don't necessarily think that he brings poor morale into that locker room anymore. He's really the longest tenured guy in that locker room now, especially on the offense. All of that is gone. He's not bringing any of that any longer. If he can come in there and win games, I don't think that he brings any of that bad juju anymore.
What I'm saying is you have an opportunity to bring in young talent, develop a guy, and pay him a lot less money rather than.
For sure, I'm there with you, man.
Money's already paid for Deshaun. That's guaranteed. He's got that money. I get that.
Yeah, but you still need to. You need something past this year. And there's no guarantee. Listen, we have learned. I don't know how many times Cleveland fans need to learn this lesson. And the lesson that they need to learn is that you cannot rely on what you might get in the draft next year. You don't know. We were relying on what the quarterbacks were gonna be in this past draft. And Arch Manning didn't come out.
But don't forget we got Taylor Green.
Who I think, listen, man, I was not at camp, so I haven't seen him. I like his tools.
Yeah, he's like a inaccurate Lamar Jackson.
But you know who was an inaccurate Lamar Jackson when he came out? Lamar Jackson. That's what Lamar Jackson was when he came out.
And then chokes in the playoffs. Would you be happy if the Browns just made the playoffs this year? Would that excite me? I don't care if they lost in the first round or not.
I do care if they lose in the first round, but I want them to make the playoffs. Here's the thing, man. I want them to win the Super Bowl every single year. I'm never going to be happy if they just make the playoffs and lose. But what I want is I want every year for them to get better. Right? What do I want? I'm a Browns fan. I want them to win a Super Bowl every single year. Every year that they go in and they lose short of a Super Bowl, I will be disappointed. That's part of being a fan. That's part of, following the team and watching the team. I'm never going to be satisfied with anything less than, anything less than a championship. That's part of being a fan. Going into something and saying that I would just be satisfied if they just achieved this. That's to me that's not.
Coming in with a whole new offensive scheme, whole new offensive players, whole new offensive coaching staff.
Let me tell you something, man. My old man.
You're an old man.
My old man died without seeing the Browns even playing a Super Bowl. I'm 46 years old. I don't know how many more seasons I have left, right? I'm not trying to. I'm not. I don't know how many seasons. Life is short. I don't take any of these seasons for granted.
Well, that's why there's a saying: just one before I die. Just one.
For sure. And I don't know if this season might be the last one. Not trying, and this is for everybody. Anybody out there listening, right? There are people out there listening right now and fans out there watching that this may be the last season that they get to watch this team.
Yeah.
And
it's home.
For sure. And for the Browns, and I just don't. The Browns have. For anybody in that organization to think that they can just waste any season, much less the one that they're in, I think is an insult. That every season the goal is to win a Super Bowl. And to go in saying that just because you have a new offense or you have a new this or you have a new that, every year that happens, are the Browns discounting any of their tickets for the fans? Is any of the merchandise cheaper? Or any of the players taking a discount? Is anything else
TSAs for tickets for the new stadium?
Is any of that happening? No. Everything else is full go. So expectations at any point in time should not be lowered as well. I'm not going in at any point in time in any of this thinking that they should do anything less than win a Super Bowl. That's part of being a fan. And I don't think anybody else should. So going in, being happy. So going in at any time thinking that they should win I'd be happy with 7 games. I'd be happy with a first round exit. I don't believe in that. When you go in and you get a new offensive coordinator and you get a new offense, the point of getting the new offense and the new offensive coordinator is to win.
Yeah, I agree. That's something to look forward to. Dude, any team could pull it off any given Sunday. Isn't that the old motto too?
For sure.
It can happen. It can happen.
It's the model. It's the movie. It's the saying. So going in that, and that's why, going into this whole quarterback battle, I want to see, the quarterback that not only, I want to see the quarterback that helps you win. And, I said it last year, and I will say it this year, I don't necessarily care who it is. I want the quarterback that helps you win. But I also want the quarterback that is going to be here.
Angel just said, what do the Browns need to prove to the fans that they're not wasting this year? I don't think we're in a tank. I don't think we ever really were. It may look like we're in a tank just because of the way we play. I don't think that's an option, especially with the talent that you have in the past 2 drafts. I know some people don't even like the draft because of the quarterback picks, but you picked up solid pieces to make your team better, a lot better. I think that this year is not going to be our tell-all year, but it's going to tell us a lot. Obviously the quarterback spot being the biggest one every single year. I'm just hoping something could be rectified the whole season where we could figure out who our actual quarterback is. I get it, there's injuries, all that happened. That's why you have backups. Who's the best number 2?
Yeah. What do the Browns need to show us so that we know that they're not just, throwing the towel in and just looking towards the draft? We need to see them. I think as a fan base, we need to, I don't know if it's necessarily what we need to see, but we need to feel that they are really playing who gives them the best shot to win. You know, I don't want to feel as though they're playing for a draft pick.
Right. I don't either.
You know, if everything is equal, if if Dylan Gabriel is if it's a two-man race between Shedeur Sanders and Watson, if it's even close between the two, you go with the young guy because you're developing the young guy. That's what I want to see.
I agree. I do agree.
That's what I want to see. And it's not because I'm a Shedeur fan. It's not because I'm a Watson fan. It's not because of any of that stuff. It's because you're trying to build for the future.
And you're a Browns fan.
And I'm a Browns fan. And that's what I want to see. And it's all of the outside noise aside. That's what I want to see here for the Browns. Now, Mike, we got about 2 minutes left here. So in the last 2 minutes, I want you to give me what's your prediction here for the game?
I am going to say Browns 21, Bears 17.
Okay.
We always win in preseason. Like, remember they won 16 year? We won every preseason game and then went to win 16.
Yeah.
So let's do it again. The preseason Super Bowl champs.
Preseason. Okay, so with since we are playing the Bears, I will is like inspiration. The Chicago Bears. I'm going to say the Browns 422.32 million. The Bears -42.
So you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Gary's reaction and score update for today's game at 1 o'clock at Soldier Field in beautiful Chicago. Did you ever go over there and touch the bean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it cool?
It's huge.
Huge bean.
It's the biggest bean you'll ever touch.
Man, I appreciate everybody for joining us today here on the radio over here at WOBL. Honestly, and then our fans that watch us on our streaming services, we really do appreciate you guys. This is our first radio show. A little bit different format today. We're getting used to some things, but it's coming along. We do appreciate everybody for joining us.
Thank you very much for the phone calls and all the participation, man. We also do want to once again give a huge shout out here to our new sponsors here for supporting us here. Once again to Auto Details, J&M Contracting LLC, the Doghouse Bar and Grill, Doug White Allstate Insurance, Wiggins Construction Home Improvement. Thank you very much for your support. And go out and adopt some dogs this weekend.
And then go to the Doghouse and get some food. Their food is amazing.
Go watch the
place
game.
Is huge. It's got a bunch of brown stuff on the walls all over the place. The place is awesome. And go get some insurance from Doug White Allstate Insurance Agency. He'll hook you up, man. He hooked me up. I saved me $60 a month. So
yeah. And we will see you tomorrow at 11:30, and we'll do the post-mortem on this game today.
Post-mortem.
Post-mortem.
Post-mortem. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you tomorrow. And as always,
go Browns! Woo, woo, woo. Good.